Hello, my name is Teresa Micheletti, and this site is called Take What Rings True. So, the whole idea is I will share spiritual stuff, and you decide whether you believe it or not. And in this case, I'm going to be talking about Heavenly Hall of Charts. So, this is a controversial one because I know some people will not believe this at all, which is fine. Everyone should find their own truth, and that's the whole idea of this. I need to turn this on, I think. That's the whole idea of this site, is to find what's true for you. So the Hall of Charts. The Hall of Charts is a pink hall. It's very large. It has two large pillars in the front, or columns in the front, and it's open on all sides. It reminds me of if you go to the beach and they have like these covered areas where you have picnic tables and you meet there and it's all open to the air. Well, this hall is surrounded by trees, all different kinds of trees, but it doesn't have any formal gardens. But it does have a lot of animals roaming around. So you can see squirrels and deer and whatever. There's lots of places to sit at this hall because you meet there to try and figure out what you want to accomplish in life and what you want to experience in life. So you sit around with a whole bunch of people. You sit around with your friends, your acquaintances, and decide, okay, who's going to be in this life? I'm going to be, right now, I am the main character. So who's going to be my mom? Who's going to be my dad? Am I going to have siblings? Hi, Hilda. Are you going to have trauma in your life? Is it going to be an easy life? So you decide all the big things that are going to happen. And that's the whole idea of the Hall of Charts. It takes many years in our time to plan one life. So take what rings true to you today and let the rest go. And that's okay. You don't have to believe everything I say. So I learned about these things in trance classes where Sylvia Brown is a medium and she would go sit on a bench on the other side, not remember anything that happened. And her spirit guides, either Rahim or Francine, would come in and teach us about life and about the other side. So in this case, you would be looking for a pink marble building. There's lots of seats. When you enter, there's a waterfall that flows into a fountain, and the fountain changes colors, which is pretty. So it's a soothing place to sit and then make decisions about your life. What are the main ups and downs you want in your life? And what are your exit points? Because you planned 5 times that you can exit a life. And that way everybody knows, okay, if you take this exit, like, okay, excuse me, if you take the exit, like I was driving my MG and this guy ran into me and I had to turn really, really, really hard for him not to kill me. If I had not done that, I would have exited, which would mean that I did not follow the spiritual path of following Sylvia Brown, becoming a minister, being director of her hypnosis school. All that would have been like cut out, and somebody else would have taken those places. So that's one place where I had an exit point. So you may have had near misses. You may have had a high temperature. You may have had surgeries. Maybe you can think of some times where you probably had an exit point. So you have 5 exit points. But you sit around and you decide with your friends and acquaintances who's going to play what role. Are you going to be a sibling? Are you going to be an only child? Are you going to live in the city or the country? Is this life going to be wealthy? Are you going to go bankrupt? Um, did you want to break a leg and see what that's like? So you meet in this big room, you have your chart in front, and then you speak about, okay, my proposal is for my chart today, I want to move to another country. And then the supporting characters, your husband, your wife, your children, whoever's taking those roles, chimes in. Okay, if you move to another country, that means this for my life chart. So you negotiate what everybody's going to do. So you do your part of your chart that day. And on the other side, there's no time, but and then maybe your proposed oldest child gets up next, has their chart in the front, and they go over what they want to add or delete or whatever from their chart. And this goes on for years in our time. So the big things are all planned, and the supporting players agree to whatever. So say your best friend wants you to be in a life and you say, sure, I'll be your brother, your sister, whatever, but they've chosen to be in abject poverty, which means you are going to be poor, very poor. So that changes what's happening in your chart. That's why you have to spend years figuring out who's going to do what, when, and how's it going to affect everybody else. There's so many paths to follow. You have so many opportunities. Maybe when you move to your new country, you get a job immediately. Or you have an opportunity for a wonderful apartment, or plans fall apart. So what happens in your chart can affect the results. So after you have your chart pretty planned, you can play out like on a movie screen. Okay, if I do this, then what are the probable paths, the results of doing that? If I move to another country, what are the results? And if I move in the wintertime, what's the results? If I move in the springtime, what's the results? If I have a job already, what are the results? If I can't find a job for a while, I'm sorry, my throat is not good right now. So I have a couple of friends who've lived in a number of countries. And these friends had charted to meet up in lifetime. However, my friend from New Zealand was always a month or a year behind where she was supposed to be. So these two friends followed the same path of where they were going to be. However, one of them was behind. Now, spirit guides and angels are like your GPS. Spirit guide is guiding you and nudging you along because they see your path, your life path that you want to follow, and they nudge you. Okay, you need to be in Puerto Rico now. You need to be in Puerto Rico now. And they try and get you to where you want to be to have the experiences you want to have. So this friend from New Zealand was following, behind where she should be, according to meeting up. And eventually they did meet up at a retreat. But that was a miracle. That's a story for another time. But they eventually did meet and realized they had been in all these places, followed the same path, but they were not there at the same time. So that spirit guide and those angels nudged her to get her on track and meet up with her probably best friend on the other side. So when you plan your life, you have to figure out, what are you here to accomplish? What's your life theme? Because you choose a theme like a rose-colored glasses. You choose a theme that you're living your life through. So you may be a rescuer or a humanitarian or a loner. My themes are responsibility and humanitarian. So I'm always trying to be responsible, and sometimes I need to stop and let other people be responsible. I'm not supposed to be in charge of everyone and everything. And I'm also a humanitarian. So I see the world through those eyes, being responsible and being a humanitarian. So you have a major theme and a minor theme. So that colors your life because that's a point of view that you come from when you come into that life. So we come into life to perfect our soul by experiencing, gaining knowledge, and we share that information, that experience with our God, our creator. If you want to call it source, universe, whatever, that's fine. So you have your themes, you come into life to experience, and that helps you to perfect your soul, and you gain points on the other side. It's like levels. There's levels of experience, and there's certain areas. Say if you're on level 3, then you can't go to certain places on the other side. It's like you have to earn your way to go to that section. So you have your life chart that you've written, and there's this blue line. So if you look at your chart, there's a blue line, like this is where you're supposed to be. And my friend from New Zealand, there's her blue line, and she was like not there yet. She was like off kilter for a while, and that's okay. And that's one thing you can check when you go to the Hall of Charts. You, as a person who's incarnated, can go to the Hall of Charts on the other side, and you can check your chart and see if you're on that blue line, or did you get way off? You went to Kansas and you're supposed to be going to Tennessee, whatever it is. But your guides, your spirit guides, and your angels will like nudge you to get on track to what, so that you are on the line to experience what you want to experience. So if you're supposed to have a house by the ocean and you're living in Kansas, that's kind of hard. So you need to be nudged to get where you want to be. Maybe you're going to become a marine biologist, and that's kind of hard if you are living in the Midwest. So visiting the Hall of Charts, you could meet with others while you're there. You can be by yourself. You can see your chart. You can see where you wandered off your plan. Hey, Hilda, again. Nice to have people online that I can actually see that you're here. And that's okay, because a lot of people watch these videos later. Okay, so we can check our chart and see our timeline, our blue line, and see where we are or see if we're off track. And most likely, if you're listening to me, you're on track because you're concerned about your life path, concerned about your chart. So you probably cannot see your chart beyond the present because you don't want to see all the stuff that you're supposed to do, because then it's like, oh yeah, and the next thing that's going to happen is somebody's going to try and run into my car. And then the next thing that's going to happen, oh, my son's going to get a professional football contract and I'm going to go visit him and, blah, blah, blah. So if you know everything that's going to happen, then it's not a wonder. And it may change your reactions. And the whole idea of going to Earth, coming to Earth, is to experience. So like the Garden of Eden, heaven has no negativity and no evil. So like Adam and Eve, we leave heaven, our Garden of Eden, to come into life to experience negativity and hardship. And we gain perfection and knowledge as we overcome life's obstacles. When we plan our lives, we have free will. But we're in such a loving heavenly place with no negativity. We agree to many experiences we often regret when we get in life. It's like, why is my life so hard? Why are all these awful things happening to me? You said you wanted them on your chart. Or your best friend said, please come help me do this. Please come to this experience. Please come and help me. And you agree because they're your friends. So the other side, we say we want to experience extreme poverty. And then you get here and now what am I going to do? So you have to play that out. So life is like a play. And it has many facets, and we sign up for hard experiences. And the way you react to those experiences determines your frame of mind. So, say you signed up to break your leg and you spend maybe 2 months in bed complaining, blaming people, blaming life, and being miserable. Or you could choose to rest for a tiny bit, get a walking cast, take some Tylenol, and go out and about with your friends, replenish your energy, have some fun. So, even though two people could have the same exact experience, their reaction to that experience is totally different. So before you entered life on earth, you met with your spirit guide. You agreed with this person that they were going to guide you. Meet with a master teacher like Jesus and go over your chart. You meet with a council of elders and go over your chart. And they all make suggestions, maybe like, don't go bankrupt and break your leg at the same time. And maybe you just say, no, I really want to do that. Okay, fine. You have free will. Go ahead. You also meet with the virtues, who are the angels who know your chart just before you enter life. And they'll ask you, are you sure you want to break your leg at this time? You know, they'll help you tweak your chart at the last minute before you come into life. Now, this is your life path, no one else. Once you come into life, don't let other people decide for you. Don't let people take over your life. You have your own life path to follow. Just because somebody else thinks you shouldn't become a teacher, you shouldn't become a lumberman, you shouldn't become a flight attendant, that's their opinion. And they don't know your life chart. They don't know what you wanted to experience. So you need to decide what's right for your life path and not listen to all these other people. I mean, you can hear them out, but that doesn't mean that you should change anything, because you have your own life path, your journey to follow. Now, as always, you can visit this heavenly hall in a number of ways. Before you go to sleep, you can say to your spirit guide, I want to go to the Hall of Charts. Please take me there when I'm asleep. And then you can ask to remember or not. Maybe you're just going to check things out and make sure you're on your life path, you're on the blue line. And if not, you don't care. That's all you wanted to know. And if you're not on your life path, you can tell your spirit guide, okay, I want to be nudged. I want a clear signal. I want this sign. I want somebody to bring me toast or whatever. Bring me a white flower if I'm not on my path. Okay, so you can go when you're asleep. You can meditate to go to the Hall of Charts. You can astrally project, or you can do it during hypnosis, self-hypnosis or guided hypnosis. So I can help you do that if you have not been able to get there. Remember, it probably takes more than one try to get there if you have not experienced going to any of the halls or temples on the other side. Like riding a bike, you got to practice. So you're going to look for the big pink hall with open sides and a waterfall at the entrance and trees all around. And you might just want to go to experience the beauty of nature, to feel better, to just go pet a deer. You might want to go to that hall just to feel calm. You might want to go to that hall to see if you're on track. You might want to go there to find out your life theme. You might want to go there to find, okay, what is my purpose? And you can ask to meet with a master teacher while you're there that helped you to write your chart, or your spirit guide, and communicate with them. And remember, people communicate telepathically. You just know what they're thinking. So you also can go there to feel loved, because when you get there, you know that maybe your master teacher is Jesus. You know Jesus loves you. You know your spirit guides love you. You know counsel loves you. And you feel the the feeling of being in heaven, which is just feeling love all the time. Your cells are just flooded with love all the time, being on the other side. So just going there, maybe you want to just meander around the trees and see the animals. Maybe you want to sit by the waterfall. So there's a number of reasons to go to the Hall of Charts. And I hope you will visit and let me know how it goes. I would love to hear from you. And thank you for visiting with me today. And if you listen to the recording, that's wonderful too. So every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time in the USA, I will do another talk. So next week's hall or temple, we'll see what it's going to be. Bye. Thanks. Okay. And how do I exit this? Exit.